All right, so one of the coolest things, I'm actually in the car right now. I'm holding up this key, and this key is actually from Gates Innovations. And what's so cool about this, it's actually buttonless. So it utilizes your touches on your doorknobs and also the proximity to release, open the doors, open the trunk. And I think it's pretty cool. It definitely gives it a nice sleek look, and that's what I'm gonna use to start up my car today. All right guys, welcome back to the channel. So in this washcast series, as you can tell from the title, is about how I lost my drone. So a few days ago, I put a poll up, right? The poll was, would you guys want to hear how I almost ruined my honeymoon or how I lost my DJI drone? I think you guys want to hear the pain of how I lost my DJI drone. I'll throw in some footage, throw in the last image of the drone. And it's an interesting story. So we're going to take it into different segments. And I hope you guys enjoyed this type of videos because I like washing my car. I'll take you guys along. Originally, I was gonna wash the car outside, but I'd rather do it in here. Just a little bit more privacy because neighbors walking by. And if you guys don't make videos, you guys could kind of realize how awkward it is sometimes when your neighbor just stops you and looks at you when you're recording. It is an awkward feeling, but we're gonna take it inside here. And if you guys haven't watched the previous videos, we've washed cars inside the garage with no problems. I got a dehumidifier, which I'll show you a little bit later, on how I soak up all the water. And it's not gonna leave any damage because I have a squeegee where we'll get all the water out of the garage. But we'll also use some safe methods on how to apply the soap and also being able to blow the soap out off the car without causing a mess. And right now I'm in a 3-car garage. And what I'm utilizing too is space. I have enough space on both sides. I just have to be a little more careful to the front, actually the rear of the vehicle. And I'll just angle it a certain way where it's blowing away from the walls. And in general, I'll show you how much of a mess it makes and how much of a mess it doesn't make later on. So I'm also gonna be highlighting Gyeon's Q2M wheel cleaner. This is something a little bit more stronger. The reason why I'm using it on this because we're almost about to change wheels soon. I have a set of wheels coming in. Hopefully, I would say later this week, if not early next week, because it shipped from Germany, I would say 5 days ago. It's just stuck in the clearance section of it. So we'll wait until for it to get here, and then we're gonna clean those wheels and also ceramic coat those wheels. But I'm gonna clean these wheels pretty good because this may be the last time I had these wheels on the car. And this is one of those wheel cleaners that it's an iron decontamination, and you can smell that chemical that's eating off all the brake dust, the iron deposits. It's not one of the best smelling products, but you definitely want to be able to utilize this when the wheels are very dirty. And also you want to utilize this too when the car is actually on a cool temperature. You don't want to use the car and be all hot and then use this right after because it's not going to be good for the wheels. But yeah, I guess you guys really want to hear how I lost the DJI drone. So this really starts back, I would say a couple years ago. I would say early 2021. My wife was preparing to, purchase my birthday gift. And my birthday's in August. So during that time, my wife was saying, oh, Dad, hon, what do you want for your birthday? We're about to go away for like a family trip. And I was like, hon, I really don't know. And every time I think of gifts for myself that my wife wants to get me, I always think about gifts to use for the channel. For example, more camera equipment. She bought me a lens one time. She bought me a drone. And yeah, like I always wanted something that betters the channel because I value everybody watching this channel, and I want to give you guys the best quality content I can. So I told her, I was like, yeah, I have a Mavic Mini 1, which is the first variation of one of those smaller DJI drones. And I was like, well, the connection sucks on that. It doesn't really do a good job. I was like, why don't you get me the new one for my birthday? It wasn't too crazy. It was like 600 bucks. And she was like, okay. I'm also going to be utilizing Gyeon's Q2M tire cleaner. And during this whole wash cast, I'll throw you guys some biscuits, you know, some cleaning tips. You definitely want to be able to clean your tires because in order to put tire shine on correctly, you want to make sure the surface is clean. Especially if you guys daily drive it, a lot of it you want to basically get that clean. I'm going to spray a little bit more onto their tire brush. Their tire brush is good, nice and abrasive. The only thing is, it gets a little slippery when you use it. Sometimes I like using a regular brush. I do like to wipe the outside of the wheels just to make sure I get all the brake dust off. We're also going to do some of the inside by the bolts, making sure that stays clean because you don't want that to be caked on. And I also want to get the brake calipers. There's enough room to get the brake calipers in the back. In the front, it kind of gets a little bit difficult. All right, so going back into the story, in my vlogs, into my videos, I like using a lot of cinematics, right? If you guys know, I use a lot of cinematics for my videos, for feature videos. I just enjoy the process of being creative. So when I had the DJI Mavic Mini, the first version, it was okay. The video quality was decent. It wasn't all fully 4K. And it was very limited. And also where I lived before, I lived downtown Fort Lauderdale. And one of the major issues about using that drone was when I would use it in the city, a lot of it wouldn't be able to sync up a lot of the connection. I would lose connection. And a lot of that really caused me to not be able to fly the drone correctly. And sometimes it get kind of sketchy, where I almost lost the drone a few times. But, so I did my research and, you know, I didn't want to spend anything too crazy. I was on a budget and I was gonna buy it myself. And, you know, my wife my fiance at the time, because we haven't been married yet, she was like, I want to get you whatever you want for your birthday. And me not being greedy, I was like, hon, maybe get me the DJI Drone just so I could better my content. Her initial reaction was like, hon, you already have a drone. I already bought you the first one. I was like, yeah, but that's a couple years ago and it wasn't as good. So she thought it was probably like, oh, you don't need it, but you know, if you want it, I'll really get it for you because that's just the type of person she is. So I sent her the link. This is probably back in like, probably like in the summertime, June, July. So I sent her the link, she got it. I already knew what was coming because of just the conversation we had. And we had this trip to Yellowstone. And it's been a while since my family, my father's side of the family, because my parents divorced. And it's been a while since we actually had a family trip. I'm talking about like since Disney when we were like little kids. So it's been a while since we had a family trip. Everybody's in their 30s, right? My sisters are in their mid to later 30s. And I'm in my early 30s. And, you know, we decided to celebrate my sister's birthday. Her birthday's in August too, my oldest sister. And also celebrate my birthday, which was very nice because I don't live in the same state they do. Majority of my family still lives up in New York. So they thought it was a good idea to celebrate both our birthdays together, which we haven't done in years. And I thought it was a great idea. So we ended up going to Yellowstone. And I tell you this, if you guys haven't been to Yellowstone or any of these national parks, the only national park that I wouldn't recommend, and I think my brother-in-law and my sister that's watching this probably right now, is the Everglades. The Everglades is okay. If you really like swamps, and there's really not much to see, to be honest. If you guys are into alligators and snakes and stuff, maybe it's for you, but it was not that impressive, so to say. But long story short, my sister and my brother-in-law are big into national parks. They like hiking. They like seeing sights, you know, nature stuff, nothing like seeing tall buildings. So I was like, okay, I'm down for that. I haven't done that before. I haven't gone hiking. So we all agreed that we were gonna go to Yellowstone as a family trip, and we rented out this huge cabin. I think it was like 6 bedrooms, 4.5 bathrooms. It was very nice. I gotta thank my father for taking care of that bill for the rental. But let me blow this off, because you don't want this product to dry on the car, which is why I'm rinsing it off and then also applying another coat on the outside. And plus, you do want to get this nice and clean, and it's doing a really good job of cleaning my calipers and stuff, and I can already see it right now. It turns into a purple, it goes on clear, so to say, and it turns purple, which shows it's activating and eating a lot of those iron deposits on the wheels. So guys, so far I'm actually really liking this tire cleaner and also this wheel cleaner. It's a little bit stronger than your brake buster, but this definitely gets the job done. And it may seem like I'm using a wash mitt. I am using a wash mitt. This is something that I just got off Amazon, and I'm able to put my hands inside and really protect it from a lot of these hard edges. Because if you use a regular brush or a regular mitt that doesn't really cover your whole hand, a lot of times is that your hands get cut up and stuff. And that's one of the downsides about cleaning these wheels. Because if without this type of mitt, you're gonna jag up your fingers. So I'm gonna finish up the rest of the other wheels on the other side, and when we come back to this side, we're gonna be talking about the rest of the story. Believe me, this is a really embarrassing story, but we're gonna deep dive into that, and I'm happy to share with you. All right, so we just finished doing the other side of the wheels. We're gonna do the rinse, and then we're gonna jump back into the story. I figure it's a good time to chat with you guys, so you guys can kind of, I guess, get to know me on a different level, and also see more of a personality instead of just about cars. I think that's a cool way of getting to know you guys, and actually for having you guys to get to know me. So I'm hoping you guys are enjoying this progression of the pain as I lost this drone. As you hear this story progress, you're gonna hear the developing ending story, and you'll see the images and also a video of the drone crashing, unfortunately. But I'm gonna thank our sponsors for this video, and that's coming from Simply Carbon Fiber. As you guys know, Simply Carbon Fiber has been a huge sponsor of this channel, and they've been sponsoring the channel for quite a bit. But this upcoming holiday season for Valentine's Day, they also sent me a couple items. And what we have here is your traditional carbon fiber hearts keychain. Along with that, you have a forged carbon hearts keychain, as you can see right over here, that gives it a nice high gloss. And this is something that's good for the holiday season for Valentine's Day. So if you want to give this to your significant other, this is definitely somebody that is a car enthusiast, whether it's your lady, whether it's your man. These are great accessories for their keychains. So I want to thank them for sponsoring this video. Now let's jump back into the video and hear the rest of my pain. Again, this may look like a mess now, but it really isn't. I'm gonna use the concrete squeegee that's gonna get all this water out. And I'm just gonna let a dehumidifier run for a few hours, and I'll show you how much water is in there. And the main thing is, this is something that you guys can do if you guys have a 3-car garage. 2-car garage might be a little bit small, but you're able to wash your car in the garage without making a total mess and not damaging things. Again, this is just concrete. It's easy to squeegee the water out and just have the dehumidifier to kind of have as a fail-safe. And in a future video, we're going to be using some of Gyeon's soap. It's called Bathe. Today we're not going to be using it. I just want to oversaturate this video with a lot of different products. But hey, this method isn't for everybody. All right, so while that's dwelling a little bit, as of right now, you know that this video is about a drone being lost, and it's about me messing up. So let's continue with the rest of the story. So we booked this trip, right? And this is like 6 months in advance, maybe 8 months in advance. We booked this trip. And my wife coordinated with my sisters and also my family of, hey, I'm probably gonna be getting Kenny this. And that's it, you know, we're basically gonna celebrate on this specific day. And we're all in that cabin. That cabin was actually pretty huge and actually a lot of fun. But going back into it, if you guys haven't been to Yellowstone, I mentioned this earlier, it's such an amazing time. You know, we went hiking. And I can tell you this, I've never been hiking ever. I may look like I'm into fitness, I do work out, but when it comes to cardio, it's not my best friend ever. And I can tell you this, that cardio beat me up. I was having a tough time going up, I think it was, I forgot what mountain it was, but it was like a level 4, which is basically elevated. So the day of my birthday, right, we actually were able to celebrate my birthday there, the exact date. I can tell you this, I already knew what gifts I was getting. I know my wife, she got me a couple things from like Gymshark, Lululemon, some workout clothes. And then when I saw this box, I kind of already knew what it was. I was like, this is probably the drone. So she got me this nice drone, it's DJI Mavic Mini 2, which is the second version. And the second version, what was good about it is that it had OcuSync. OcuSync was their new connectivity. We're actually able to connect from the controller to the drone itself, and it had a better connection. So you wouldn't lose a lot of signals, especially if you lived in the city. And that was one of the major issues I had with the original Mavic Mini. So I got the drone and it was such an amazing gift. I loved it. Right off the bat, I charged it up. I took it out into the back of the cabin and I was flying it. I had my little nephew with me and we were just flying up in the sky and it did a great job of just capturing footage. And I was like, I'm gonna capture this footage because I was actually filming a video there. And the video was, what does it mean to be part of the BMW community? And I think that was a really good video where I was able to showcase my opinion about it. And, the video was, this car has given me so much more, something along those terms. And I was actually able to film some, drone footage of it, and I had a good time. The drone was actually really, really awesome. And here's where it gets spicy. So as you know, I like adding cinematics to my videos. I like adding drone footage whenever I can or whenever I feel is needed, and also where it's not too overused. So I like using drone footage. With that being said, I was actually able to work with BAV Sound. So BAV Sound is a speaker company, right? They make speakers, replacement speakers for your factory settings for like BMWs, any other brands. And they were actually able to work with me on my F80. And what we did was we had a stage 1 kit being installed, which I did myself.
That would be horrendous.
And also the ghost underneath subwoofers. At the time, I was living at my condo in Fort Lauderdale. So I ended up going to my friend Raphael's house because I wanted to film it indoors. And in my condo, there was actually a lot of construction going on. There's a lot of drilling because they were renovating the whole pool on the 5th floor, which is right below the parking garage because I was stationed on the 4th floor where my car was. And it pretty much wasn't ideal. It was dark. I wasn't able to get the proper lighting. So I went over to my friend's house. And he was helping me here and there, and we installed the stage 1 kit. I installed the ghost subwoofers. And it was a long time because when you film these videos, even me washing my car, filming it, it takes a long time. And because you gotta set up the angles, you gotta set up the cameras, and that takes a while. So I was basically done installing the system on my F80. And during the time, I was like, I thought it was gonna be a boring video, which it could be for other people. And the way I like to spoof up my videos is to add some B-roll and to add some content like a drone footage. And that is exactly what I wanted to do. And because I could got drone footage where I live, right? But since I was driving home, I saw a lot of different, I guess, sceneries, okay, so to say. You know, different areas where I haven't filmed before, different areas where I could get some good drone footage. And this is the time when the sun was setting, right? So I was able to capture a certain angle with the sun kind of beaming down on the car. And for me, I thought that was a really good shot. So I decided to stop on the side of the road, and I saw this one area is very unique, and I thought it was a cool shot, right? Because the sun was setting down, and my car is relatively clean, and I was able to capture, I thought was an amazing, you know, shot for the video. So I parked along the curb, took my drone out, and I was getting ready. I was excited. I was like, this is gonna be awesome. I'm gonna showcase this. This is pretty cool, right? So took the drone out. I was flying it a few times, and I was getting some angles, and it was actually pretty good. That's when I got a little bit cocky. All right, so here's where it gets kind of interesting. So I'm just about wrapping things up, right? And I'm sitting in my car, sitting in the driver's seat of my F80, and I'm like, okay, let me get this one more shot. The sun's really going down now, and it's allowing me to capture a really good angle. So the drone went back up in the air. And the cool thing is, before I tell you this part, is that the reason why you see some previews and also some images from the whole issue or the whole scene is because DJI, when you film on your phone, connected to your phone, it saves a lower quality version of the footage you film or also take pictures of. So you're not getting the full quality, but you get like a preview of it, which is why you're about to see the image you're about to see. So the sun was setting, I don't know which direction it was, but it was setting in, and a lot of the sun was hitting my passenger side. So I figured, let me start the drone off in the driver's side. So I have the drone in mid-air, and one of the modes, it's like an automatic mode where it has like a vertical, or it's called a droney, I think, right? Or one of those angles. I'll list it right over here where the setting was. And what it does, it just rotates and it flies on a certain angle. I was like, wow, that's gonna be a cool shot. So I set it to like 100 meters from where it was, and I let it go, right? So this is connected to my phone, right? So I'm able to control everything and also see whatever the drone sees on my phone. And just to give you an idea, this drone did not have any sensors. The only sensors it had was just underneath the drone where it's able to land. So I had no peripheral sensors, no sensors in the back, not like these other drones that are out now. So I put into that mode and it's going, it's flying up, it's going into that nice angle. And I'm just sitting in the car looking at the phone, I see, oh shit, there's leaves. And I'm like, by the time I said, oh shit, it was already too late. What the drone did was, it was flying back and it hit a palm tree. And this ain't a regular palm tree. If you guys are not native Floridians, or if you guys are new into the palm tree life, these palm trees are tall, man. These are not really trees, and I don't know, these are massive palm trees. And I so happened to catch it on the worst angle ever. And what happened was the drone went back and hit the tip of the palm tree. So when it hit the tip of the palm tree, the motors automatically shut off. This drone landed on top of the palm tree. And I was doing everything I can. I was like, fuck. Well, sorry for the language, but I was like, shit. And I was trying to activate the drone, trying to make sure if I could do it somehow, make sure the wings could have kind of like moved the drone away from like the top of the tree. And once you hit something with the drone, that drone is obsolete. It just won't move it again. So I wasn't able to move any of the wings, and I was taking images because I could still see what image is showing on it, and I could see what was it seeing. It was seeing the sky and some leaves, and this is what the image you see right now on the screen. And I can tell you this, my heart sank. The reason why my heart sank was not because I lost the drone. Yeah, it definitely was, but it was more the fact that my fiance at the time, because she's my wife now, she just bought me this drone, and it's something that I wanted, and I felt so bad. Like, I felt like shit for losing her gift. And this is only a few weeks after. This is probably like a month after. And I felt so bad at losing the drone. It's like, okay, if I bought the drone myself and I lost it myself, I wouldn't feel that bad. I'd feel like, okay, yeah, I messed up. It's a $600 mistake for me. But since my wife, or my fiance at the time, got it for me, I felt really bad. All right, we're gonna continue the rest of the story when we finish rinsing this car off. Instead of me using air to dry the car, we're gonna use a drying aid and also some microfiber towels. And also just to continue the rest of the story. All right, so we just finished rinsing the car off. We're gonna be using, I know it's mixed reviews about this, right? Some of you guys like Bead Maker, some of you guys don't. I have probably about another 1.5 gallons. So I'm gonna use it today. I'm gonna use it because I wanna get rid of this before I start finding a different solution for my drying process. And I think what I'm gonna probably do is maybe use a drying aid once in a while, not all the time. But going into it, and the reason why I'm using Bead Maker when it's wet is because what I noticed is that when I use this product, when the car is dry, it streaks. And I'm not a really big fan of that. But when it's wet, it does a decent job. So going back into it, the drone's on top of the tree now. And I'm just thinking like I felt really bad. I know you saw it on my reaction before. I definitely felt horrible about it. And again, it was more about it being a gift from a significant other, AKA my fiance. So I'm like, damn, what do I do? So at that point, I'm like, let me go try to get it. So I go into this area and I'm telling you, like the shrubs were like up to here. Like it hasn't been cut in a while. And I had a pair of jeans, I had my Adidas on, and I was like, okay, I got this. I'm gonna try to go find it. Hopefully I could find it in the leaves, and if it's in the leaves, I could throw something, find something, throw something to knock it down. And let me tell you, when I got into the shrubs, I just felt like every single thing in the bushes was on me. And this is when the sun's going down too, and this is in the summertime. If you guys know Florida, there's a lot of bugs at night, and also during that time period when the sun starts setting. So I was getting eaten alive by these mosquitoes out there. And meanwhile, I had no idea what was inside the brush or anything, any snakes or anything. Probably wasn't any snakes, but I was like, shit, let me see what I could do. So I'm looking up into the leaves, and I'm trying to find it. I don't see it at all. And I had no flashlight. The only flashlight I had was the light on my phone. And I was really trying. I probably tried for about an hour trying to find this drone. And as the sun started setting down, I just got more, hopeless that I'm not gonna get it. And you can see it on the controller that it's at this specific area. It says something regarding me crashing and my battery's dying. I'm like, damn. So I look around and I'm just like, well, now my car's in the front of the place and I don't know if it's gonna be okay. So in the sun setting down, I decided to just leave it there. So I left it there, and as I'm driving away, it was just eating me up inside. And the type of personality I am, I'm kind of like a perfectionist when it comes to things, and things like that definitely bothered the hell out of me. So as I'm driving home, I give my friend a call, Raphael, because I just left his house. And I'm like, hey, do you want to hear something stupid? He goes, yeah, sure. I'm like, well, I just left your house and I decided to fly the drone. I told him the whole story. He goes, bro, let me know where it's at. I'll grab a ladder and let's go get it. I'm like, the type of ladder you need is probably like 2 times the size of the ladder you have at the house. There's no way we're gonna be able to get it with a traditional ladder. So he was very determined. And I was like, bro, there's no way we're gonna be able to get it. You're gonna need a fire truck with a fire ladder. There's no way we're gonna be able to get it. And he goes, well, can you call them? I was like, they're not gonna come out for this. It's my mistake, my fault. I guess the reason why I wanted to tell him is because I wanted to vent that out a little bit. And it felt good at one point to vent it out, but deep down inside, it felt like shit, because I just lost a gift that my wife got me, or my fiance at the time. And even driving home, I was like, I got off the phone with him. I even told my buddy Doug, I was like, Doug, this is what happened. He goes, well, you gonna tell her? And that was the question I was gonna ask myself. Was I gonna tell my fiance at the time that I just lost her $600 drone she just bought me? And I was like, there's no way. I didn't have it in my heart to tell her about me losing it. I'm sure she would have been okay. It would have been that much of a big deal, but I just didn't feel right. So I kept it away from her, and she never really asked about it. She never really, I always kept my camera stuff inside my guest room, so she didn't really see it. But when she got home from work that day, she saw my sneakers. It was covered with all this grass and the stuff that it's like kind of like pine needles a little bit. They get stuck in my shoes. She goes, what the hell happened to your shoes? I was like, yeah, we were playing football after we did the video shoot. And she goes, huh? I was, yeah, we were at Raphael's house. We were playing football, and then my shoes got all messed up. So she didn't think much of it. Obviously, she thought it was kind of weird. I'm not really a good liar either. So we left it as that. She never knew about it. She never heard about it. And then my idea was like, okay, she's eventually gonna ask about it. What am I gonna do? And then I did a whole bunch of research of what drone I could get now. And the reason why I want her to get me like the Mavic Air 2S and Mavic Air is because those drones are expensive, like $1,000 plus. And I didn't want her to spend so much money on me because, we were saving for a wedding and, we were saving for other trips. So I didn't want her to dish all that cash for that. So that's why I told her to get me the Mavic Mini 2. So what I did was, I looked into the Mavic Air 2S, which is the footage you see right now, and it's superb quality. And I thought, if I'm gonna get another drone, I'm gonna get something that's more of an upgrade, even though the last drone was an upgrade from my last one. And a lot of you guys are probably thinking, hey, why didn't you get the insurance? I didn't get the insurance because I didn't want her to pay for it, which I should have. There's different types of insurance for the drones. There's one that's a flyaway. So what happens is, if your drone flies away like that and you're unable to get it, you have a higher payment for the insurance. But what happens is DJI, or the insurance company you pay for, compensates you for a new drone, and you have that one claim. That would have been good in that case. But I didn't have it. I didn't have any insurance. Even if I had the cheaper insurance, the insurance wouldn't have covered it from flying away. I'm just admiring this PPF because I already see some imperfections where rocks have hit it and it's doing its job. And PPF is not going to be forever. And I'm kind of like going off on a tangent a little bit, but I will say it's very worth it. I think probably in a few years, I'll probably do a refresh on the front. One part of me told me that, hey, I need to buy a drone because if she ever does ask me about, hey, where's that drone I got you? How you liking it? Are you using it? I'm like, well, I kind of need a drone for her as a backup in case she does ask me. So I ended up buying the Mavic Air 2S. Amazing drone, like I said. Captures really good high quality 4K. And I'm only touching the iceberg of how to use it because there's a lot of features I'm not using correctly, which I should do my research and kind of utilize it the right way. But I bought it and it's doing such an amazing job. So that was, I'll tell you the date where I lost the drone. The date was this day because I'm looking at the timestamp of the template that was saved on my phone. That was the date where I lost the phone. When we moved into this new house, I thought it was probably the perfect time to tell her. Meaning like, we were already happy because we would consider this one of our dream homes and we're very happy to be here. And if you can see it from my expression and my face, you know, it's been a goal of mine to be able to provide and to be able to live in a nice house. And I'm happy that we could do that for my wife and I. And hopefully, as I get older, we could do that for our future kids. So I decided it was probably one of the best times to tell her, hey, remember that drone you got me? Want to hear a story? So I told her the story, and I showed her the footage, and she was very surprised. And what she was more surprised is how she didn't know. I told her, I was like, hun, I didn't have it in my heart to tell you what happened to your gift that you got me, you know? And she realized, and you know, she was kind of upset a little bit, but you know, she can't get too upset. But now I learned my lesson. Get a drone that has sensors everywhere, which the Air 2S does have a decent amount of sensors. So I'm very happy with that. This is not a drone review video. This is more about how I messed up my drone. The moral of the story is always have a backup. I'm just kidding, but like, be careful when you use these nice toys of yours. And yeah, I think this story was pretty interesting to tell. And I'm glad I was able to tell you guys. I think it was fun for me to tell. And I've been holding that footage for quite a bit. I was like, when is a good time to tell you guys? All right, so once we finish the other side, I'm gonna wrap this video up and I'm also gonna show you guys exactly how I clean up this mess in this garage. And it's not really too much of a mess, but you'll see why and see how I do things. And maybe if you guys are in the same situation, you can use the same method too. So this may look like a mess, but this is something that you're probably gonna need. This is a concrete squeegee. It does a really good job of getting a lot of the water out. And the way I look at it too is that this is actually helping me clean the floors, you know, soap and stuff. What I will say though, when we had John and Ben over, their cars were really dirty. This floor definitely needed a nice wash and a squeegee job. And the reason why you see all this water here is because I did leave the door closed, so a lot of the airflow wasn't getting in, but if I had the door open a little bit, this would have been less water. But as you can see, it's doing a really good job. So the ones that are worried, I wouldn't be. And this squeegee here, super light. Got it on Amazon for like 25 bucks, no more than $30. And then having that dehumidifier that's still brand new in the box might be overkill, but I'm gonna use it anyway and show you guys how much water gets collected. And again, we are in South Florida, so the humidity is high, so it might soak up a different type of humidity that's not involved from the soap and water. All right, just took it out of the box, and I'm gonna leave all the links that I'm using, where the products I use, and also this in the description. I think this was just in the ballpark of like $100 to $200, so it wasn't too bad. This is really made for this much square foot, but you can tell in this garage, we're not using that much square foot regarding this. The reviews on this had probably 4.5 out of 5 stars. You're never gonna have 5 stars because you're always gonna have that one person that thought it could have been better and give it 3 or 2 stars. But again, I just need this to make sure that this garage is nice and not moist. So I think this is gonna do a good job. I'm gonna let it run for a few hours, and then I'm gonna finish the video up by letting you guys see how much water is in here. And what's cool too is that it actually has wheels on the bottom. Just for the record, this is literally 10 minutes after I squeegee the floor. Look at this. There's only streaks left. It's really not that bad. So again, guys, this is very doable, but I'm gonna let this run and I'll show you guys how much water it pulls up. All right, so this has been running for quite a little bit. Oh. That's a decent amount of water in there. I didn't think it was actually going to be soaking up that much. What's pretty cool about this, it actually has a handle, so you could carry this and obviously dispose of the water. But that's a decent amount of water. So again, that's this machine definitely did its job. So if you guys are looking for one for your garage, I'll leave the link in the description. But that's a decent amount of water. I've been saying that for the whole time, but... So other than that, I'm gonna conclude this video. I wanna thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I'll see you guys on the next vlog.